has now become, as you can tell from the crowds, our biggest paid tourist attraction in London. Yeah, gets over 3.5 million visitors a year. So yeah, these queues will probably get bigger as the day progresses and continues. Normally, it's continually moving, even when people get into a capsule or get out or leave a capsule. But at the moment, it's stopped. An adult is about £18.50. Parliament's divided into the House of Commons and the House of Lords. The House of Commons are the ones that are elected by the people, and the House of Lords have their position in Parliament through peerage title. In the House of Lords, all their benches are with red leather, so their colour's red, and the House of Commons, their colour's green. This is why you have the outdoor eating areas in a better weather, one in red and one in green. Also why this bridge, Westminster Bridge, is painted green, and the bridge down that end, Lambeth, is painted red. Yeah.
Are all the offices like individual offices?
I think they would be. That's 1,000 rooms in there. The two big towers, well, this big tower is called Victoria Tower. Bell's singing to me. So a lot of people call the clock tower Big Ben. The name Big Ben is never the actual name for the clock tower, but the name Big Ben has got a bell inside, a 14-ton bell, and that is what it's actually called, Big Ben. The actual tower was called St Stephen's Tower, and they wanted it, they may have changed it to Elizabeth Tower after the Queen's Jubilee last year. Buried there in huge ornate tombs with the effigy or statue of that king or queen laid on top. Also scientists as well buried in there, Sir Isaac Newton and Darwin. And also where the coronation happens. So when we're ready to have a new king, this is where they'll be crowned, where all our kings and queens have been crowned.
And where was the wedding of Prince William?
Here as well, yes. So Kate and William got married here in this church, whereas the previous big royal wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana was happened in St Paul's Cathedral. As you notice, a lot of pupils around this area that we've seen is because it's a part of a private school here called Westminster School, and it's one of the older schools in London, and because it's private, they have a chance of boarding here, and which makes it very expensive as well. It would cost Mummy and Daddy about €35,000 a year to send their kids to this school. It's mainly boys, but they do accept girls now, but only from the age of 16 to 18 can girls attend this school.
accessible. Io?
Residents, instead of the Union Jack, will be her own Royal Standard flag race there. So mainly, her main home, that she mainly most commonly lives in, is Windsor Castle. Windsor Castle is along the river, about a 45-minute drive, say, from where we are now, in a westerly direction. The Queen has a nickname for Buckingham Palace, and she supposedly calls it the office, because to her, she only comes down here when she has to do Queenie stuff. You know, knight someone, entertain dignitaries from other countries, pin a medal on someone, you know, Queenie stuff. Yeah. 550 rooms in Buckingham Palace. And the first royal to move into Buckingham Palace was Queen Victoria, and that was about 1837. In 1985, a man, those huge gardens go all the way behind Buckingham Palace, all the way down that way, huge gardens. And in 1985, a man climbed over the walls to them gardens at night time, then walked up to the palace and broke through a window. He walked around in a maze of 550 rooms, unchallenged by any security. Yeah, and eventually reaches a room, goes in, and ta-da, it's the Queen's bedroom. The Queen is in her room, maybe in bed, I don't know, but this strange man in the dead of the night has just entered the Queen's bedroom. And the story goes that this man, and the Queen sat on the edge of her bed having a conversation for half an hour. For half an hour before security decided to turn up, stop there having their tea break and decide maybe we should assist. But you know, I think the Queen doesn't get too flustered, not the sort of person to scream out, and yeah, she thought that probably the best thing to do was to talk to this man to keep him calm, because he was found to be a little bit loopy. Yes. So he was hospitalised rather than imprisoned. But it done them a favour, because it showed them how slack security was, so they could greatly improve that. Trafalgar, won by this man who defeated the French, Lord Admiral Nelson. He won that battle, but unfortunately he got shot, so he lost his own life. For instance, the Sunflowers by Van Gogh. Monet's Water Lilies. This building was being built, this structure, it was just an open field where cattle was brought down, sold and slaughtered here. And a huge open space in the centre built up London. And also, not just the sale of cattle and trade of cattle, but also because of this big open space, they used it for the more barbaric side of London's history, i.e. public executions. And one of the most famous ones, where the film was made about his execution, was Braveheart, where Sir William Wallace is dragged by horse first from the Tower of London and brought down to this big open field, this space here, and we're in that final scene in the film. He's hung, drawn and quartered. Hung, drawn and quartered. So first he's hung by his neck, Then he's drawn, which means his arms are tied, his legs are tied, and he's stretched between two horses. Then finally, he's laid on a stone slab, and that's where they get out the implements, the sharp tools, cut out open his abdomen, and start pulling out his intestines.
Maybe he's dead.
Well, eventually, I think he's still alive when they're doing that. Yeah. In the film, he's alive when they're doing that. Yeah. And, you know, they'd done that to torture someone and give them as much pain as possible. So they'd done that while they were still alive. Finally, they chopped his head off and then they stuck it on a pole and left it on London Bridge for 25 years. Then he was dead.
I feel the push and pull.
He rebuilt a lot of London after the Great Fire of London, which happened in 1666. Although this is his greatest monument, St Paul's Cathedral. The previous cathedral that was on this site, that got destroyed in the Great Fire of London, had a straight conventional tower. But Sir Christopher Wren wanted this dome shape. At first he found a lot of resistance to that because they said it reminded them of different religions around the world and not a Christian shape. But he got his own way and at the stone. On top of the dome, you can see people up there. There's a viewing platform. And unfortunately there's no lift, so you have to climb a narrow spiral staircase to get to the top. But allows very good views over London if you can make it up there. Inside the dome there's another balcony, and that's called the Whispering Gallery. So called because the shape of the dome creates such good acoustics that if you whisper on one side, that whisper can be heard all the way across on the other side. And this is where we had that big royal wedding first of originally Princess Diana and Prince Charles.